Socialization and Divergent. Socialization is the activity of mixing socially with others. It is also the process of learning to behave in a way that is acceptable to society. Next, I will briefly summarize the movie Divergent. Divergent is set in a futuristic dystopia. Society is divided into 5 factions, each representing different virtues and beliefs. At the age of 16, teens decide whether they would like to remain in their faction or switch. Tris Pryor makes a rather shocking choice and goes through a very difficult and dangerous initiation process. Along with that, she underwent plenty of tests and soon found out she was divergent, meaning she didn't fit into just one group or faction. This would mean certain death if people of authority found out. Her secret had the power to unravel her seemingly perfect society, which it in turn did. First, I will talk about nature versus nurture on Tris Pryor. As a child in this society, Tris was raised to live according to abnegation rules. In an abnegation society, you should always be concerned of the needs of others and are very against vanity and self-interest. Although she never excelled in being a true abnegation, she still acted as one. She would do things such as avoid looking in the mirror too long and would always clean up after herself and after other people and be there for the homeless. Although she was socialized in her nurture to act abnegation, deep down she was much more than just abnegation. After having genetic testing done, it was revealed that Tris is divergent, meaning that she exhibits traits from abnegation, dauntless, and erudite. Or in other words, more than one faction. When Tris begins to participate in the dauntless initiation, although she came from the opposite faction, it comes naturally to her. For example, she was the only abnegation out of everybody that was chosen to participate in a dauntless-only zipline event. Now, this is considered to be shocking because dauntless and abnegation are 2 totally different factions, dauntless being rebellious. Her nature was really able to shine through in dauntless. All in all, Tris's nurture and abnegation enabled her to be selfless and kind. Her nature reveals her to be those things, as well as dauntless, which is brave, and erudite, which is knowledgeable. She got both a dauntless tattoo and an abnegation tattoo, because nature and nurture played a part in making who she is. Next, we will talk about institutions and how the factions were like an institution. In Divergent, there were 5 factions, or 5 different societies. First, we have abnegation, who blames selfishness for human nature's errors. Then we have Dauntless the Rebellious, who blame cowardness for society's problems. Then we have Erudite, who blames human ignorance and unintelligence for the faults of society. Next is Amity, which is a completely democratic faction who dislikes anything war or conflict related. And lastly, we have Candor, who believe dishonesty is the key fault in human nature and where evil and war begin. These 5 factions don't interact with each other at all. Although they live in the same area, they all have their own beliefs and choose to not interact with each other. They are, in other words, isolated from one another. Now, people living in the factions are living in a total institution because they are cut off from the wider community and live an enclosed life. They live strictly off the beliefs of their own faction and are brainwashed into believing that those things are true. They are socialized in a way to have no knowledge on the outside world or on the other factions. The leaders of this society did this on purpose so that it would be unlikely for anybody to rebel against the system. Somebody with a very small span of knowledge, which the people in the factions have, will not be able to rebel against a humongous system. Tris, however, has the virtues and beliefs of 3 different factions in herself, which made her differently socialized from the rest of society, which made it easier for her to rebel. Lastly, we will be talking about the looking glass self in Divergent. This theory was created by Cooley, a famous American sociologist. In society, nobody is really their self, but rather how they believe others see them. For example, people from the honest faction, also known as Candor, may act very blunt, authentic, or genuine because people see them like that. They believe that those virtues are the most important and that they represent them the most. Therefore, they would like people to view them like that, so they make themselves to be out like that. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.